Bahamas.
Where was we? We were
The Bahamas, yes, yes.
Yes, we said we
Well,
didn't really believe we were going at the time because we'd had this offer to our local agency, and it said we want the group to come out to play in the Bahamas. I thought, well, how the bloody hell do they know about us anyway? Well, apparently it was a geezer that used to live by this youth centre and used to know us from the youth centre in Willenhall, and he went out in the Bahamas to live, you know. It was a really screwy story about him, though, because we thought, well, who's this guy, you know? Anyway, we didn't really believe we were going until until the tickets actually did arrive, and the tickets came about a few days before we left, and it was like a really weird experience, you know. And off we went, never been on a plane before, you know, and we were going off for a month, is what we thought, and we ended up there 3.5 bloody months. You know.
We arrived in the Bahamas, you know, a big car waiting for us with all the gear and everything. We flew all our own gear out. It takes us around to this hotel, amazing hotel right on the waterfront of where it was called Grand Bahama Island. Nassau was the capital of the Bahamas. That was on another island, and a big tourist place, you know, Grand Bahama Island. Big, massive luxury hotels and nightclubs and gambling casinos and everything, just like sort of a Las Vegas type place, but in the middle of the Bahamas. And we thought, oh, this is amazing. Gets into a big American car, you know, drives to the hotel, big plush hotel. Sean Connery was stopping there. Frank Sinatra's yacht was moored on the harbour. Thought, oh, this is amazing. We're gonna have a hell of a time here, you know. And we checked in our rooms. We were two of us, two to a room, you know. They booked us 2 rooms,
Which was incredible.
with adjoining doors, you know, and luxury. All our meals bought into us. We used to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know, because the deal we went out on, we were supposed to be going out there for 6 weeks, 40 quid a week, clear in our pockets. All our hotels paid, everything paid for us. So the first 2 days we were there, we hadn't got to play, you know. We were opening a new club in another part of the island, and they wanted a white group to open it. And we went round all the local nightclubs and that on the first night we were there. This guy from Wolverhampton took us all round, you know. We sort of went into this disco and we said, well, here's the place that we're going to play. Is it anything like this? And he said, well, it's sort of like it, you know, the same sort of thing we're trying to do. You know, oh, it's going to be a gas, you know, because a great club, and actually there was a British group playing there called the Measles from Manchester at the time. And anyway, come to the night we got to play, so we goes down to see the club the day before we played there. And it was like a luxury shack at the other end of the island in the black sector of the town, you know. And we thought, oh no, you know,
Voodoo figures about.
we'd come out, you know, and we thought, we'll make the best of it, you know. It wasn't too bad inside, actually, you know, when the lights was dim. And we set all the gear up, and anyway, it turned out that it was just a hangout for criminals, really, crooks. But we started to get a bit of a reputation on the island, and from about 10:30 till 1 o'clock at night, we'd be playing to the white American and English kids who lived over there and the tourists. And then from 1:30 till about 5 in the morning, we'd be playing to the coloured people. So we'd be doing all soul and Tamla and Bluebeat and things like that. And it was really great, you know. We got a reputation. We started to pull the people into the club gradually. We got a regular crowd, plus the tourists that were coming in on the island. And well, this went on for about 4 or 5 weeks, and we used to always go up to the manager and say, can we have our wages and all this? And he used to give us a few quid to eat with, you know. We used to eat at the club, and we used to have all our booze free at the club. And so we were living quite happily in this big luxury hotel and playing on the night, you know, sunshine all day. We were having a hell of a time, you know. We got loads of friends there, you know. All the kids was our mates. Anyway, 4 to 5 weeks later, we were in the hotel one morning, all asleep in bed, and the hotel manager comes on the phone and he says, can we come up and see her? Can you come up and see me? And
his name was Dan.
Darrow, his name was Dan Darrow. We was just...
Heinz who phoned up. Heinz.
We ain't getting to that bit yet. Let's say the story in order. And the manager asked to see us, you know, this one morning, so we all goes up to his office, you know, and he says, I've called you together about the bill, the hotel bill. And we said, oh, it ain't nothing to do with us, the club's paying the bill. It's all sorted out, the club pays the bill, you know, for all our food and all our lodgings and everything. And he says, no, the club ain't paying the bill. You've got to pay the bill. We said, no, I found the club now. And they says, oh yeah, we've been on to the club. And the management and everybody have shut it up and left. And what had happened, the manager and this guy from Newcastle, from Wolverhampton, from the club, they'd all done a moonlight the night before, and now been known and shut the club up. Yeah. Nobody had been paid their wages, none of the staff who worked there, none of the other musicians or the other artists who worked there had been paid. And we thought, oh, Jesus Christ, what are we going to do now, you know? £2,000 the bill was. Yeah. For 4 weeks, 2,000 quid. And we thought, well, what are we going to do?
I had the bills.
We thought, what are we going to do, you know? What can we do? Anyway, the manager of the hotel was pretty fair about it, you know. He says, well, it's no good us throwing you in jail because we ain't going to get our money that way. He says, so there's a new management. He'd heard that a new management was going to come and take over the club. And we says, fine. He says, and I'll try and get you booked into the club with the new management. Half your money you earn a week can come to the hotel to pay off your back bill. We'll move you into one of our staff apartments, which is what they did. 4 to a room again, 1 bathroom, a kitchen, and everybody in a bedroom come living room. It's like a bed sitter, but a four bed sitter. Really. And so he says half your money will go back to pay the back hotel bill, and half your money you'll live on. We said, all right, okay, fair enough. It was the only thing we could do anyway. And so that went on like that. And we'd been there 6 weeks at that time, and so this guy booked in. He was actually there 14 weeks in all. So what we used to do with the money that we got, our half of money, we used to we'd got our tickets to get home for ourselves, but we hadn't got any tickets to get the gear home then. We didn't realise that either, you know. And so we used to practically starve, like we say. We used to go up to this restaurant every lunchtime and eat there because that's all we could afford. Kids, our mates on the island, used to steal food from their houses and booze from their houses. We were still having parties every night. This apartment, you know, we had parties every night, and they used to nick booze from their houses and food from their houses. So we got on great, and all the money we earned ourselves, we put away to ship our gear home. And we decided as soon as we got enough money to get our gear home, we'd do a skip back home. So that's eventually what happened, you know. We saved enough money up, which it cost about 250 quid for the amount of gear we got at the time, which was a lot of bread, you know, considering the money we were getting, half of our money going to the hotel and that. And we eventually got 250 quid together, shipped the gear home a week early. The club was being closed for redecoration, so it was dead lucky. We got the gear on a plane home, and then the plane that we were booked on was left a week later, just the night before the club reopened, so we did a moonlight, you know.
Like
and that's how it worked out.
The manager's name was Dan Darrow at the hotel. Dan Darrow. And we used to sing that, that you know, thing, like, you know. We were scared stiff when we first went up. We had $2.5 grand, you know, and this hotel manager was calling us up. We never stayed in a hotel before. It was guest houses always. And so we used to go up and see him, you know, and we'd be like scared and thinking what we're going to do and write off for money. Our parents could never give us like $2.5 grand. So, like, in the end, I thought, well, what can they do? They can only throw us in jail. So we used to go up, stick our feet on the table, light a fag up, and we used to say, Dan Darrow, the window towards, you know. What are you going to do then, Dan? Throw us in jail, ha ha. On the island, you see.
We heard when we left, he got the sack.
See, on the island, you're supposed
to run that bill up, you know.
You're supposed to be bonded, you see. So this Ken fella that brought us over, we thought we'd met this woman in the Midlands who came up to say goodbye to us. She said, I'd like you to send a message to my son who's bringing you over. I said, oh yeah, right, so send him my love. Great. So we get across there, and apparently there's this Ken fella and his sister living on this island, right? His sister's married to some real estate agent, you see. And we're bonded under them, because you have to be bonded on the island. That's their protector. The only thing you have to get your home is a return ticket, which you must have. But your gear can be impounded, you see, right? So the biggest problem for us was actually paying the debts off, you see, which is the only thing that could have us with the hotel bill, is because they couldn't really, I don't think they could really throw us in jail, but they could keep us, you know, or impound our gear to pay off the bills, you see. That's why we had to skip to make sure we got our gear back.
Oh, what a garnish.
Yeah. But the funny thing was that that this so-called son turned out to be the woman which we thought was his mother, was his grandmother.
Are you following all this?
And his sister was his mother.
See?
Now this sounds really a bit of an Harry Worth, but but it's actually true. And the geezer that she was married to on the island didn't even know, you see. And of course this fella Ken just skipped, skipped the island, and we went straight to what we thought was his sister, which was his mother, and said, "What are you going to do?" And she said, "Well, I ain't doing nothing, you know."
We had a bit of blackmail actually there, because we found out. And so we had a bit of blackmail, we had an ice in the hole that they'd got to help us, because they'd bonded us, and her husband knew nothing about Ken being a son. He thought that Ken was a brother. You know, he never knew.
Everything we went over for, like the whole deal, 40 quid a week and all food and everything, hotel found, the guy who took us over, the club owners, everything was completely false. Everything like turned round, it was all happening in a different way.
That's right. Everybody was conning us and we didn't know. The only people that were friends were the kids, you know. But all the time at the club, when this new management took over, they were bringing over acts from America, you see, who all supposedly were big acts and all got hit records, but they all turned up with no backing groups. And they always turned up like on that actual night, whipped in our dressing room and say, "Hey man, do you know my latest hit record, Hitching to the Horse," or whatever it might be. And said, "Well, it's all right, mate, it's in C," and whatever there were current hit records there, according to them, they were their hit records, and they probably think, well, we don't know any better anyway. So. And we had all these weird, freaky acts coming on the stage.
This one act called The Professionals, and it was 5 minutes before they were due to go on stage. They hadn't turned up. So we thought, well, that's it, no rehearsal, nothing, like, we can't do the show. In come walking these 3 black guys with like big Mexican hats on, all going, "Hey, babe, what's happened, babe? Gotta do a show."
All this stoned, all this
And the
slapping-
manager of the club
slapping
says,
palms.
"You've got to go on." And this is where we developed a lot of our spontaneity, And he said, "Well, we can't go on, it's 5 minutes before we're on." And we said, "Well, what numbers do you know?" They said, they said, "We know Yesterday and Soul Man." And we said, "Yesterday's someone, we don't know any of them. What else do you know?" "Hey man, we've only been together 2 days, man. Give us a chance." He says, "We're a dance team. Just turn singers." And we went,
just turn
"Oh
singers."
bloody hell, what are we gonna do?" So
That was supposed to be a
I
40-minute set.
I knocked
Yesterday and Soul.
up the chords for Yesterday, learned them Nod quick, and we did it. We just like me and Nod. Dave never did learn the number. Me and Nod just like chinging the chords, and one of them sung Yesterday, and then, but they said, "Can you do Soul Man?" Well, we knew it vaguely. And we said, "Well, you're going to sing it." They said, we don't know what key it's in or anything, We started playing it, and they came on. We didn't know what was going to happen. They came on doing this amazing dance routine.
You never seen dancers like them. They were absolutely
Absolutely
phenomenal.
unbelievable. We were just freaked out,
They were doing
But
gumballs over one another and everything while we were playing "I'm a Soul Man."
Yeah, that was the favourite.
And these were all bugging, The audience
Jumping
went
over one
berserk,
another.
We couldn't believe it. And all we did was had to play that for half an hour while they danced.
Yeah,
No one
we
stood
did.
half hour.
Because they only knew 3 numbers, and the one number they just sang on their own without any backing. A guy just stung there.
That was amazing. And we couldn't believe it. Well, one of the funniest incidents we had there was these 3 chick singers who were a sort of copy of the Supremes. I forget what they were called. What were they called? Twans. And they come the first night. We had a rehearsal with them. They were doing all Supreme stuff, and Aretha Franklin and that. And they did this number called Respect. They used to open the show. We respect, and they all used to come on, boogieing on, dancing, and then they get the 2 backing chick singers that go to the mic and they go, "Woo!" And the lead chick would go, "What you want? Woo! You got it. Woo! What you want? Woo! You got it." It was really great, That was really good. And the second night, because it's really hot in the Bahamas, I used to get throat trouble there because it was so hot, if you got in the sun a bit too long, it really fucked your throat up completely. And these 3 chicks come the next day, and they must have been out in the sun because they were from America, and they weren't used to the dry heat there. And they come on, and we didn't know, but the lead chick had lost her voice, and we didn't know. So they come on with, "Oh, we're going to have a great night tonight, really get into it now," because we'd had one night with them. And they come on, and they come on walking on, doing their dance routine, and the two backing chicks went, "Woo!" And the lead chick mouthed, "Woo!"
Nothing coming out.
Nothing come out at all, not a word, not a sound, And that was going on through the number, and then suddenly this black guy in the audience stands up and says, Hey, sing it like it is, sister. There's nothing going on. We broke up. We couldn't hold ourselves up for laughing on stage.
Not only that, there was these tiles, the stage was wooden tiles, and one of them had come loose, and they went off stage after the chick had been singing, standing there like miming with no voice. They went off stage, one of these wooden tiles had come loose. The last one who was going, Pepper, a foot went through the stage and she fell over flat on her face. I mean, some show, you know.
That. And I used to be I was the stage manager, the compere and everything. I used to have to shift the scenery on for the strip acts. And the limbo dancers had to have 2 poles for the cane across, and the fire eater had to have all his gear. And I used to have to fetch it on while these were still playing. I used to have to go off stage and fetch all the props on and do all the compere bit and everything. And they were always drunk and stoned, the artists, always. And you used to see them at the back of the club. And it was supposed to be a well-run show, you know, they were all supposed to come on at a certain time. And they were never ready, you know, they're always at the bar.
We used to be playing, and Nod used to have to, the other three of us used to play, Nod used to go off. Sydney the fire dancer, where is he? Hey man, I'm not going on, I don't feel like
His real name was Sydney, but his stage name was Prince Bardu.
Jeroki's at the bar, man, and he was like this sort of a dancer, you know, he used to do these amazing leaps and everything. So he'd go up to Jeroki up the bar, you know. Hey Jeroki, you're on! You know, meanwhile we were still, you know, going, you know, waiting for the artist to
intro for their song, you know, to come on.
We'd already done that. Ladies and gentlemen, straight from Miami, USA, here they are, you know, like, and nobody would come on. Nobody was going up the bar. Hey, come on. I'm going to ask him. Yeah, I'm not going on.
And I used to come back on stage and they'd say, where are they? What are they saying?
Still playing?
They told me to fuck off.
The audience still waiting for the star to come on. All it's fine on the stage.
I was never ready and I just don't care, you know.
Trouble with them, they used to have drink tabs, you see. And they used to be on the, you know, and most of them never received any wages because they drank it.
The fire eater, he used to go up at the end of the week to collect his wages, and he owed them money because all his wages he'd drunk and he owed them money. He was always broke.
There was this Jeroki fellow who used to come on in gold paint. Right, and there was a lot of bad feeling between the acts because while we were backing them all the time, we had to bring them on, you know, whatever. Well, if one was going down real well, he'd go on too long. Well, and Prince Bardu, the fire eater, you know, was really into all this stuff, you know, all the burning stuff and things. And of course, he went way over time. You see, he was going down a storm. You see, oh great, you know. And this Mr. Goldman up the side was waiting to come on.
Painted completely in gold.
Completely in gold, waiting to come on, you know.
The pause can't.
There's a little curtain at the side, which we can see, like, you know. And like this fire dancer had gone on for ages, and you see this like eye coming on the side. Get him off! Get him off, I'm dying!
And then you suddenly saw his hands go down the curtain as he collapsed onto the floor, and there was all gold paint down the curtains, and you could see on the floor in the dressing room, in the dressing room, all gold paint over the floor where he'd been rolling over in agony, you know, all his paint coming off on the floor.
Apparently it blocks all the pores up, you know, you can't, your pores have to breathe.
Mr. Goldman.
That happened in golfing, I killed somebody like that.
What was the other guy, Fufu? There's some right puffs in the club. Fufu was
one. My impersonator, yeah.
But he was a guy, but nobody ever knew he was a guy. He looked just like a woman, you know, and he used to come on and do a go-go dance. It went till the end, he used to take his wig off, and you'd see he was a guy, you know.
Yeah.
And he actually used to get blokes up at the audience and dance with them, you know, real sexy dancing with blokes at the audience. Well, the coloured guys get really uptight. If any way you insinuate that they're queer, they get really uptight. And so he used to get them up and dance with them. Then when he'd take his wig off at the end, the people he'd been dancing with in the audience used to go mad.
Yeah.
You know, and they used to get some really violent scenes, you know. They used to come round the dressing room after his blood. You know, because he'd sort of made a fool of them, so they thought, in front of the audience, you know. And oh, the uptight scenes we used to get after the show with this guy.
We used to back all these artists, you know, limbo. We never played bloody limbo music.
We played everything.
You will play limbo music. Double lever. You know,
and that's how we learned to play, you know. We could play anything, any soul, tamla. I mean, the coloured people, they used to really dig us. I mean, the first night we went there, they were as good as booing us off, the coloured people, because I thought, what's a white group of kids coming to a club and playing, you know? But when we played some of the stuff, when they saw we was doing soul music and tamla, they freaked them out completely. They didn't believe it, you know. I mean, we were doing like things like James Brown, and which was their hero. James Brown was the king, you know, to them. We were doing all James Brown stuff, loads of tamla, Motown stuff.
Rocksteady.
We used to do a thing called People Get Ready. by the Impressions, you know, real slow. People get ready, there's a train coming. And all the audience used to, you know, I got down on my knees and sung it one night. Just drunk, got down on my knees and sung it one night. The crowd standing ovation, you know, just because I got down on my knees and sung it, you know, because it's like a spiritual. Yeah. You know, and it freaked him out completely.
Oh,
eventually we got this reputation on the island, and all the other musicians at all the other clubs on the island used to come and watch us after they'd finished work. You know, they all used to come to this club. It was like a musicians' club then. They all used to come, and they'd all get up on stage and sing. And some of them were dynamite, you know, these coloured singers.
There was this one guy, Sam Baker, came from the States. And I used to play very, very fast bass at that time. And he came, you know, and there was a con going on to keep us at the club, you know, we wanted to leave. But he said he was going to take us to America, so we stayed. And then he came in the dressing room after the show and said, "Man, you ain't tired at all. And that bass player, man, he's playing the next song before he's finished the first one. He's playing so fast, man." He said I was in the next song, you know. He plays too many notes. An argument with him, you know.
And they all used to come in, every one of them, all these artists used to come over and they used to say, "You know my latest hit record, Sonny?" They all used to do Sonny and say it was their hit record, you know, every one of them.
Yeah, there was one night when the guy was really getting into this number, you know. I think it's either Sam Baker or somebody, and getting down on his knees, you know, and doing all the bits to the audience, you know. And he's, you know, and the mic went off. He just threw the mic down. He threw the mic down on the floor and walked off.
It's a really temperamental artist, there weren't a lot of them, you know.
Oh yeah.
Such ego freak. This guy used to be the co-compare with me, and he used to sing and play piano and bongos. He used to play amazing bongos. He was the best bongo player in the Bahama Islands, and he used to play tunes on them with his elbow. He could play dun 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 dun, little tunes like that on bongos with his elbow, making the notes. He was amazing and great musician, sung great and played piano and everything, but he was a complete ego freak. Cross-eyed alcoholic.
Cross-eyed, yeah.
And he used to drink 150% gin. And he used to ballet dance at the back. You'd see him at the back of the club ballet dancing about to the music. And he used to drink this gin and breathe out the fumes and light them. And you'd suddenly see this bloke ballet dancing at the back of the club with a flame, a shoot of flame coming out of his mouth. And you knew it was him right away, you know. He'd light all the back of the club up with his flame.
Eric's in the club.
and he'd like compare the show, you know. And one night, when the fire dancer was on, he always wanted to go on and do everything, play with everybody who was on the club. And one night he went on and he said to Don, "I'll play the drums," because Don used to have to play drums all night. He never got a break. Although there was another group on, a coloured band, they hadn't got a drummer. So Don had to play drums with them as well. So he was on from 10 o'clock till 5 in the morning without a break. He was, and we used to have half hour on, half hour off type of thing we had. And this one night, Eric says, "I'll give you a break, man. I'll play the drums." You know, and Jim and this guy backed the fire dancer. You know, they just had to sort of do a jungle beat, you know, on bass and drums. It used to have to be a jungle beat for him to do his proper fire dancing act. Anyway, this one night, this guy who got on drums, Eric, who used to be the co-compare, he got on drums, and he decided he'd change it. He says to Jim, "Hey Jim, you know how to play Latin American?"
You know Latin American.
And so he started a Latin American beat on the drums, you know. And of course, Prince Badu come on sitting in the fire eater, and he wanted jungle music, and he was Eric playing this pretty
rocksteady,
you know, rocksteady type thing, Latin American thing.
"Hey man, what you doing, man?"
Prince Badu went mad, you know. He went berserk because he couldn't do his act to this beat, you know, and so he threw his fire sticks down and stormed off the stage. And Eric walked up to the microphone and he says, "Prince Badu will not be playing on this stage again because he is a baby." And it was like that every
really funny,
night. There was something like that happened.
Like there was people paying to watch this.
It was a comedy,
chaos,
you know. People come in, tourists. It was packed, and people come in. I mean, we used to go, and we were drunk when we got to the club. It was the only thing to do, you know. I mean, we hadn't used to arrive at the club till 10 o'clock, and we never drunk so much in our lives. And we used to crawl on stage some nights and fall over, and they used to lap it up. You know, it was really funny.
It was quite clean until we went to that island.
We got so degenerate there. It was
No wonder
amazing.
you like cabaret.
Yeah, Don. That's exactly what it was like. It was just like a cabaret. It was just like that club in Cabaret. The same seedy atmosphere, the same characters in the club. Exactly like that.
And the whole life.
Yeah. Well, that's
We
me,
used
you
to
know.
sweep up the stage while we still, you know, like the two or three of us.
I used to have to pull this big bird cage on, enormous bird cage for the go-go dancers.
Female impersonators.
You know what? You used to have to do everything. Sweep the stage up in between the acts when all the rubbish was on the stage after the
One of the
fireman.
group were in his guitar down, he's sweeping the stage.
We used to use our PA and everything. It was so funny.
When the new owners took over the club, there used to be a woman and a guy, you know, and she used to get really stroppy with us because we were always too loud, you know. Kids loved it, but we were always too loud for them. And she used to come down the front, you know, and go, you know, so pointing a finger at us, you turn down, you turn down. And we used to stand there laughing at her, you see. And she'd go back and tell her husband, they're laughing at me up there. And she'd send this big guy down to get us, you know. And he was our mate, you see. But he says, hey man, he said, I don't want to hit you. I don't want to break your guitar, man. I've got to look like I'm going to break your guitar.
He just told her to come down one day and smash our guitars.
Or cut the strings. And he was trying to pretend he was trying to cut the strings. He got a big pair of scissors. There's a string, he was trying to cut them.
He came down to do it.
He was called the Iceman, you know. He was a really funny bloke.
He's great.
They'd all got nicknames over there. They'd all got names like Napoleon or Count somebody or
Yeah.
Prince somebody. And this guy's name was the
Buck
the
Waterstaff.
Iceman.
Did you ever yourselves get other names? I mean, or other nicknames that have been used?
I don't know.
forgotten?
No, we
I
never
don't think
did.
we did,
No, we never did. No.
But like we got to know one another. It was the first time, you know, we got over all our humps there, you know. So when we had like our latter success,
Especially living
you
in
know,
that one room. you know,
yeah,
you
one
can imagine
room.
what it
Like
was
the one morning, the first like week we were over there, and we were in the first hotel. I was in the same room as Nod, and I woke up and he was there. Like the sort of the dressing table mirror was there, and Nod was standing on the dressing table stool with his back to the mirror, with his head under his legs, looking up his arse through the mirror. Like, and I was going, what are you doing? He says, I might have piles. I said, what are you doing? What on earth are you playing at, you know? But you got used to it after a bit, you know, everybody got used to everybody else.
Every time we woke up, we saw Jim doing it.
We used to play some tricks on Jim in the early days because he was really fresh from school, as green as they come, rosy cheeks and everything. We used to play some vile tricks on him.
We don't want any bootleg tape.
And this one time, oh no, maybe take me.
No, you can't
broadcast that anyway, can you?
But like, you know, for instance, we buy 4 Cokes every day. We buy a Coke each. Me and Donna drink ours religiously every day, you know, like we wait till we're thirsty, because we only had 1 Coke. Put it in the fridge, bring it back from the supermarket, in the fridge, me and Don, 1 a day. H used to drink his while we were still shopping in the supermarket, gone. And Nod would have a stock after about a week, you know, selling them at black market prices. It's like, in the night, you used to see like, you know, about sort of 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, you'd see, it was all dark, all the 4 beds in the apartment, and you'd see H going to, sneaking off to the fridge.
light.
And you saw the light from the fridge come out the room. H, leave my Cokes alone.
We used to drink this root beer, you know, which is like the kids drink, you know. And that's one of the things we used to drink a lot. But we could write a book about the Bahamas because something different happened every
We had to do
day.
our own washing and like this, you know, washing the dishes and all that. And we always ended up nodding Don. Me and H never used to do it, you know. We just found out all these like things that only by living with one another in such close contact could you find out.
But it must have also set you up with your heads in financially, you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Having to get over that
Well, and musically,
setback. And
I mean,
musically.
we were on the lowest ebb, I think, there from a point of view of money than we had ever been. You know, I mean, we were completely broke. If it hadn't been for the kids on the island helping us out and thieving from their own homes for us, you know, we wouldn't have really got through it. You know, but we did.
I bet when H was wearing the dress.
I used to do fashion on the island.
He used to have his fashion pictures took. I
got involved with this woman who owned these circuit of shops on the island. And I ended up doing fashion parades with 8 birds, and it was just me, the one bloke, and I had to be dressed like, you know, to match the...
One time he got a dress on, he got this concoction on stage, because we used to wear anything on stage, you know, we used to come and go in the most ridiculous garbs. Played at club every night, you know, you got to come up with something new every night so they don't get bored, the regulars.
But I thought it looked like one of those Nehru coats.
So we used to wear anything, you know, any mock-up costumes we could knock up, we used to wear just for a laugh. Anyway, H this one night, he comes in this bloody dress, he got this dress from somewhere. Or he thought it was a dress, but he thought it was like a Nero coat, which were very fashionable over in the States at that time. And he got this on stage, and he's playing away. And this chick comes into the audience, and they got a dress on exactly the same as he got on stage.
Got my dress on.
Hey!
Can we stop short of the place and do this?
We're here. There's Bevy in front. Shall we flash him?
Yes, yes, yes.
What are you doing?